Hello and welcome to another video. I can't breathe very well because this has been my closet for years and is full of dust.
Oh, well, at least the microphone didn't fall too far from the head. Um, my lighting setup here is, for those curious, is literally me turning on this light and there's a cat, um, and throwing it next to me. So, um, getting some dope cinematic tricks. Um, Probably should raise it higher, but it's fine. So, uh, this whole situation is kind of a wild situation for me right now because I was like, I'm getting anxious to film something, and I'm like, oh, this is. I've kind of been preparing for this because I've got this whole ability to make films by myself from having a motion capture suit and being like, I could get some, 3D models of guys in hazmat suits and go outside and film the street and track them in and do CG characters and whatever. But I've been filming so much with Saw that I'm like, it's really hard to imagine going back to that of just filmmaking by myself, um, because I've gotten to have so much fun filming another person and creative coming up with creative ideas together. And honestly, the projects are just in the end more fulfilling because it's not. I come from such a focused place of what I get specifically excited about. Of like, I'm really excited about scenes and environment and world and like all these things that are, if you make a film just using those pieces, it's like glimpsing a moment in another dimension or something. It's like, that's interesting and it's exciting for me in when I've accomplished it and I'm like, ooh, that was cool, you know. But it's not nearly as fulfilling as doing something where, in working with Saw, we get excited about the same kind of weird, uh, unusual stuff, and she just gets really excited about making characters in those worlds, and getting to like bounce off that makes a more fulfilling project. So, obviously, right now, Saw is dealing with a bunch of life stuff, like a lot of people are, and trying to finish up some work stuff and things like that. Still doing some stuff for us, but she's got other focuses too. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out how I can shoot a film or something today that still fulfills all the new things that I'm excited about my most recent filmmaking with Saw. Um, Not sure if that's even possible. Also, like vlogging, fine. I just turn on the camera. You may have noticed this is not like cinematic. Um, but I'm not looking. It's just not as fun to film myself. It's way more fun to have someone else to be like, okay, let's get, like you can have fun with the shots. You're not to say you can't have some fun with a vlog. It's just not as active and playful for me. Um, I mean, obviously, like Casey Neistat makes some beautiful cinematic choices sometimes, and or a lot of times, and there's lots of other people doing amazing. I don't know names off the top of my head, but a lot of people I have seen doing very cinematic vlogs. Um, but yeah, anyway. Uh, so right now I'm just kind of contemplating that, thinking about if there's like something I could do quick. I also have this projector to play with for a minute. Um, but again, I was like, oh, I could do something where I'm like projecting stuff onto myself, or um, playing with that. Been thinking about going back and doing some green screen again, stuff like that. But it's all like, yeah, but then I want one of Saw's songs to make a video to, or even a poem or something, or a script, or just somewhere to start. So, um, yeah, so I'm feeling a little anxious on that, and I'm like, what's my plan right now? because it's weird to watch so much of the film world be so affected and go, oh, I actually don't have to be as affected. I have the tools to just keep producing what I've produced in the past. But the past just feels so distant now, you know? And I think about like seeing if Saw wants to send me a script and just work with someone that's nearby right now as an actor. But, you know, the more I'm reading, the more stuff I'm seeing, the more I'm just like, if I don't need to, adding more people to interact with and possibilities of spreading stuff, especially like if I'm telling people to wear hazmat suits or gas masks or something like that, it's like I'm got to keep those real clean if I'm going to be passing those between people and stuff. So anyway, it's all a lot of there's a lot of thinking and contemplating going on right now. So I just released or just posted another vlog, so that was fun. Go check that out. And her first music video is up. Her second one is, I think I said in the last video, 25th. And I think Devil May Care we're just gonna finally post today. I mean tomorrow or the next day probably. And just depending on where things are at. And hopefully start figuring out what's next to shoot so that I can get going. I'm feeling like my internal wheels are like doing the like cartoony running in place, you know, where it's like you see the spiral, it's like and they hit the ground, you know. So yeah, that's it. Oh, I will say, had a little coronavirus hangout today. My girlfriend invited over two of her friends, and we all stood on opposite sides of the room from each other. But I had a wonderful time and good chat. It was funny though, because it felt like more socializing than I usually do. And we're like hanging out and avoiding each other, so, or like, you know, stay away from each other. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. I will see you
on the other side. You probably have no idea what I just said. Bye.